Hi there, Jamie Keat here today at Teachers Tech. Hope you're having a great day today. Today I'm continuing on with my series in PowerPoint for beginners. This is lesson or level 2 in the series. If you haven't checked out the first video, I'll put a link down below in the description or in the card up above. That video covers the basics of PowerPoint. In this video, I want to go a little bit further with things in design, organization, in sharing your PowerPoint to make sure that you can be creating your PowerPoint as efficiently as possible and getting it to look as good as possible too. Everything will be timestamped, so take a look in the description. You can jump to the different sections of this video. Let's get started today on Teachers Tech with Level 2 PowerPoint for Beginners. So I'll be working just from this demo PowerPoint here that just has the different topics in it as I go through. You can see these will be the different topics that will be down below, timestamped in the description. So we're going to take a look at the first little part is going to be about organization, and we're going to look at hyperlinking, zooming, and sections within your PowerPoint. Now, if I go to the next slide here, I'm going to just start with a simple add a link to a website here. So if we're going to go to a link, and I'll just use Teachers Tech here, I can highlight the text here. If I right click on it, you'll notice that you have link here. Another place you can get to this, if you go up to insert and then look at link. We'll be looking at zoom also, but look at link here. If I drop down, you can see I can link it right to worksheet or different documents that I have, that when I clicked on it, those documents would open up. But that's not what I want. I want to insert link right to here. Now, I don't want it to go to a place in this document. I want it to be an external document. And then if I go ahead and click on here, existing file or website, I just have to put the address right in here. So I'll put my Teachers Tech one in, hit OK. You can see now, click off of it, it has that underline in blue, hover over it, there's a text, there's a link to it. And I'm not going into present mode at the moment. If I hold down Control, it allows me to check this out. So if I click on this, I'm going to see that it's going to open up here my website. So I'm just going to go ahead and close that down. I can link objects on it. So this is just a picture. I can right click, go to link. I can do the same thing, paste that in, hit OK. And now if I hover over it, you can see that it's a link to follow. I'll hold Control and click on it. It's going to open up. So whether it be an object or or just text, you can highlight it and link it externally to websites. Now, there's other things that inside of PowerPoint. So let's say your PowerPoint's getting longer and you want to help organization with it. Hyperlinking can be very good. So for an example, if I go to this topics page, and I want to be able to use this as a table of contents, and so if I want to hyperlink these so it goes to that part of the PowerPoint. So an example, if I highlight SmartArt, I right click on it and you can see there's the link, click on it, open it up, and I want to go place in this document. So where do I want to go? Well, I want to go to SmartArt right here. So I can go SmartArt, hit OK, and now if I hold down Control, since I'm not in present mode, and then click on it, it goes all the way to there. So maybe at this point, I want to add a shape, or I could write something back here to bring me back to the topics page. So maybe I'll add a shape in, and I'll just do this as I'm going to add it right here. And I can always add text to this. If I want to add text to this, you can go ahead and do that, but I'm just going to make it just a link back. So if I right click on this one, I'm going to go link. And where do I want to go back? Just to topics. So maybe I write topics on this, but now, so if I hit Control, it brings me back. So I'm hyperlinking my document so that if I have, especially if they're really long, or maybe I'm sharing a document with other people, I want to help them navigate it. This is the way that you could do it, is by using hyperlinks inside of your document. The next thing I wanted to show you was zooming. Now, we already talked about it's kind of like hyperlinking because it's going to help you organize, but it does it in a very kind of cool way when it zooms in. And how it works is, if I go back into my insert up top here and then look at zoom, And I have summary zoom, section zoom that you can't see right now because I haven't added any sections to this right now. And then there's slide zoom. I'll add a section in a moment in case you haven't done that before, but I'm going to add a slide zoom here. And so what slide zoom does, I can add one or multiple. I'm just going to add one right now. So I'll click topics and I'll hit insert. And so what it does, and this time I am going to go to present mode. I'm just going to leave it right here. And I'm just going to present this. Whoops, I better click on the right thing here. Present this. And I'm going to switch I'm just on duplicate. I'm going to duplicate this. So as you see this, as I click on this, if I'm in present mode, if I go and click on this now, and it goes right there to that slide. So I'm just going to escape out of there and move that back. So it gives you that zoom to put in there. So like I said, you could have multiple ones in here. So if I go back to my zoom, whoops, that was summary. If I go back to my zoom slide, I can select multiple ones in here. So if I just pick these ones, you can see it adds more of them here. So you could have multiple ones to go to of your different sections. So it is like hyperlinking of these. You could keep it as these slides right here too, but you can always right click on these and notice that you can change your image too. So if I go to change my image here, it will open up. I can go look from icons to different things. I'm just going to go pick something kind of random right here, but I'll pick this face and I'll hit insert, and you can see, so now this is going to be my zoom. I'm going to go back and present this again here. Hit my present. Yep, and I get my double monitors. So I'm going to go back and show it this way. And as I click on this, you'll see it still zooms to it. So it has that transformation through it on it. The other thing with the zooms, I wanted to point out, if I go to any of these, right up here we had summary zoom. So what summary zoom could be, and it says up here, so if you had kind of maybe one slide, and notice I have different sections on it, so maybe I would pick out all my section beginnings of it, and I'll just pick 3. If I hit insert, it creates this summary right here that I could quickly go to any of these. So I could hit play, it would bring me to that section. So I'm kind of creating like a table of contents from right there. Now, the thing I didn't mention was the sections yet. If you haven't added sections to any of these, I'm just going to go Control Z to get rid of that last thing that I added. So let's say if I was looking to add a section, if I'm going to go in between these ones, I'm going to add a section, and I'm going to right click right here, and I'm just going to say add section. And at this point, I'm going to title it, and I'm just going to call this linking. Maybe I call that organization. But right away, I have this section. Everything kind of went in there. You can see, maybe I go to my next one, and I'm going to click in between, add a section, and I'm going to call this just design, rename. And now I have these different sections that are happening here. And just so you know too, you can drag, if I have this open, if I wanted to drag things into different sections, I can move things around like that. Now, if I was going to go back to zooming, you'll see there's actually a section zoom. So if I wanted to go to a certain section, I could do that. And again, it's going to help me organize my slideshow. I could do it the hyperlinking way that I suggested at the beginning, or you could use the zoom feature. That looks pretty cool how it zooms up on a certain area. So that's that for that first part. Let's move on to our next item here today. So this next tip is more for design, and I have covered this before in a different PowerPoint tips video, but I thought I'd re-show it in case you hadn't seen it. And I have some images that I brought in here, and I want to remove the background and I want to take some colors from it. So for example, at first, let's say I have this yellowish in the bar down here, and I want it to be similar to the red in the airplane here. So what you can do is use the eyedropper. So the eyedropper, and if I click on the object that I want, I'm going to go to home here, and you'll notice I can right click on this too to get to the same things, but this is my shape fill. And if I drop down, notice that there's the eyedropper right here. So the eyedropper allows me to go, and as I hover over things, to get the color I want. So if it was this red right here, it will change it. So you can also, maybe you pick kind of the wrong spot, you can go back and pick that eyedropper again, and you can see how it kind of changes. If it was a little maybe the darker on it, but you can give it a kind of move it around to find exactly what you want. You can do the same thing with the text too. So if I was any of the things that you pick here, you notice the eyedropper comes up. So whether it be the text, I could go through and click on something, and that probably won't be a good color, but it will change to that. So that's the eyedropper, because sometimes you're trying to get the same colors off the images to kind of create that, you know, that slide so everything looks good together. Now, the next thing I wanted to point out with some of the design is removing the background. So in this first case, I have this airplane here. It's on a blue background. This is a pretty easy background to remove because it's really only one solid color. It's kind of like almost working with green screen, and then there is a contrast. And if I click on this, as soon as I click on the picture, I get this picture format up top. If I click off of it, it's gone. So I need to make sure the picture is selected. I'm going to go up to picture format, and notice that there is remove background here. And take a look. If you haven't played around with all the different things you can do with pictures, take a look at the different options. I'm not really covering those. I just wanted to show remove background. Now, as I click on this one, it kind of is doing it automatically, and it's selecting the blue, and I'm going to just say keep changes, like that, and it went through and just took the blue out. So it has this transparent background. I'm going to right click on this one, and I'm going to bring to front so you can see I can move this over top now, and it has that transparent background. And remember, this is kind of fun when you add some animations too. If I go to animations, and if you want to go all the way down, do a custom path, you can draw a I'll just have it fly by, and you can have the plane drive by just through using some of those animations. I'm going to just take that off, but I just thought I'd show you that real quickly. Now I'm going to go to this picture over here. Now go back to picture format. This one has a different background. It's not as easy at one color. You can see there's a few different colors. If I go to remove background this time, when it goes through, you can see it got a little bit of its feet. It didn't get this part. But what I can do is if I go to mark areas to remove, if I can click on this and I can just draw over top of that brown, and it will kind of go through. I'll draw a little bit more here. Up there, you can see it kind of jumped in a little bit, and maybe I got to bring back its feet here. So I would draw over top of its feet, and it's going to go, and now it brought a little bit too much, and I'd have to kind of go back and forth, and sometimes it takes a little bit more time. If I draw around the edges, you can see through here, I'll just draw a little bit. I'm not going to make this as exact as possible just because for time. I'm going to just draw it like this, and you get the idea of what I'm trying to do. You do have to go, I kind of go back and forth sometimes, though. It's getting closer and closer as you go through, and sometimes so it's just down to this right here. I'm going to try to do this, and you just have to take your time. And there's a little bit of the tail. I'm going to just draw a little bit, try to put it back as my last thing here. I think I'm missing a little bit of it, but then at that point, I'm just going to leave it there. Keep changes, and you can see now I have this one. Now with an image like this, it makes it a little harder because with the background going a little bit through its fur and everything, it's not as defined edges on it, but you can still remove the background. It just takes a little bit more time to do that. So those are just a few different tips with design that you can take a look at. You know, if you want to remove the background, that's a common one that people want to do with their different images inside of a PowerPoint. So a lot of times I see people trying to create graphics and charts outside of PowerPoint and bring them in. Then they don't realize you could use SmartArt to create these different comparison models, list right inside, and you can quickly change them. And that's using SmartArt. SmartArt on this slide, I'm just going to hover over this icon. You can see this is what it looks like. Insert SmartArt graphic. You can also go up to insert. Whenever you're thinking about putting something into PowerPoint, think insert, and you can see all the different things that can be there. I'm going to click on SmartArt. Now, these are the different ones you can see, from a relationship to cycle, process, matrix, pyramid. I'm just going to go to a list here and I'm going to pick one. I'll pick this one, hit OK. And quickly I can add some text. So I could be, well, we talked about design today. We talked about, well, we will talk about some sharing, and I'll just say link. So there's some text. That's how quickly we can add text. You can see I can actually do more up in the top. I can add different things up here. So if I go demote, you can see I'm going to go Control Z. I'm going to add shape. I can do all these different things inside here if I needed to move one up and change it out. So move it to the left, and just different things to change the look. Now, look at over here, I can change the layouts completely. So if I was going to click over here, you can see as I hover over, it gives me that preview of what it looks like. So you can make these great things right here. And if I go, and if I'm even using this, as I click on different ones up here, the different styles, click on this 3D one and drop down, you can see the different ones. So if I wanted to go and change even to more layout of what I've already talked about, maybe I want to go to I'll go to a matrix one like this, hit OK, and I've changed it again. And I can go back, I can change my colors in here. So you can create all these great looking smart arts, putting in your information in here. And remember, you can always go and add more shapes or change the layouts to these, alter the colors, and you can go to the reset back to where it was when it was brought in. And you can convert this to text or shapes at this point too, but take advantage of SmartArt and filling out, creating these, like I said, I've seen people try to bring them outside of PowerPoint, create them, and you bring them in here, you can quickly adjust them once they're in. So take a look at that feature of SmartArt. Did you know PowerPoint has a built-in screen recorder? So just like what I'm doing right now, I use Camtasia, I'm recording the screen of me teaching PowerPoint. You can actually do a screen recording inside PowerPoint. This is how it works. I'm gonna go just to this blank slide here. And I just want to point out, you notice we have recording right up top here. If I go to insert, we have screen recording. And we also have recording up here, and it's going to get to the same thing, but screen recording is what I'm going to show you. So I'm going to select screen recording, and what happens is, so this is a selection area. I can change my selection area. This shows what's going to be recorded, so I could draw this larger if I want. Do I want my audio on? Do I want the pointer to be recording? So I could turn it off. Notice it's not highlighted, turn it back on. When you get your area selected and your audio and record pointer, if it's on or off, hit record. You're going to get the quit down. You can see where you can quit. There's a different way to quit. So if I go ahead and open up, I'm going to open up this PowerPoint again, and I'm just going to change a few slides here. If I go up to the top and hover over, you can see I get the way to stop it too. And I'm just going to go ahead and hit stop. It's around 15 seconds. So now I have this screen recording that I was just recording. Quit. There's a different way to quit. So if I go ahead and open up, I'm going to open up this PowerPoint again, and I'm just going to change it. So that's what you can see. That's what I just recorded, and it was recording my voice, and I put it right inside PowerPoint on that slide. So if you're thinking about adding little lessons inside your PowerPoint, that's a quick and easy way to do it. So now I want to talk about your exporting options when you're done your PowerPoint. How are you going to share it? You could share it as the PowerPoint, or you might want to be able to have it as a PDF. So you could share it as something that people could print out. You could send them in an email where it's not the full PowerPoint, just a PDF, or maybe you want to make a video out of this. So you have those options. If I go over to File, I'm just going to go back over to my file. And first of all, I just wanted to point out a couple different ways with PDF here. You can see save as Adobe PDF. You would need your Adobe license for this one, but if you look at export, you'll see it comes up again, create Adobe PDF here, and we have create a video. I do want to point out, and you can see animated GIF. I wanted to point out, if we go to save as, we have if we go to drop down, so right now it's just as chosen as a option of PowerPoint, we can look right through here. So I could go through, if I wanted the PDF, just select PDF, hit save, and it's going to save it as a PDF. So you just go ahead and hit save, and I just already saved it once just to save time, but this is what it is. So this is a PDF. This is the document that I was working on here, and it's just slide by slide on it. So if you wanted to email this out to somebody, or so people could go through, you could have it just like that. So that becomes a handy thing to have if you want it as a PDF. The other thing you could do is have it as a video, and I've already showed you through the export option. We can see in the drop down we do have different video options that we can choose, and you just go through, pick it, and hit save. And sometimes it does take a bit of time to convert it over, but I'm just going to open up the video that I just did of this one, and you can see it's about 1:40. It actually went through, and I'm going to jump ahead here. It's just playing here slide by slide. I didn't have it timed out, so it just defaulted here. If I go up to the top and hover over, so it recorded my screen recording and played it. So it inserted it inside of it, and it's playing through it too. So it turned this into a video. This is something I could upload to YouTube. You know, if I wanted to make a presentation this way and upload it to YouTube, it would work as that. So it gives you different options how you want to share your PowerPoint when you're done. Let's move to our final thing today, and that's working with OneDrive, a place to save your PowerPoint to, where you can access it from anywhere and in different devices too. So the last thing I want to talk about today is saving your PowerPoint to OneDrive. So you do need to have an account, OneDrive, Microsoft account to do this. But if you save it to OneDrive, then you can make sure if something happened to your computer, it's going to be backed up somewhere. If you didn't have your computer, you could log on to OneDrive on somebody else's computer and access your PowerPoint there, or even all your other files too. So make sure you're taking advantage of your OneDrive account if you have your account, and to be accessing it from anywhere. If you want to know more about OneDrive, I do have a video explaining that. I'll put a link down below to that too. But if I just click up top here, right where it says Beginners Level 2 PowerPoint, and right now this is on my desktop, this one on this computer, and you can see where it's located. I can't go ahead and change it. Right from here it says, do you want to upload this OneDrive to, or upload this document to OneDrive? And I can do it. I can click on this. I can have different accounts. So I have different OneDrive accounts that I could upload this to, and it will make a copy. Another way you could do, if I just go over to File and go to Save As, notice we have our different accounts here. So I could go OneDrive leveraging digital here. I actually already have a copy of this one here. I'll just save it here again. So if I go save, it says, do you want to replace it? I'll say sure. And so now this is getting moved. So this is inside my OneDrive now on the cloud. And the nice thing is, so if I click on this, notice now I can actually change the name if I wanted to, and it shows me my location of this is on OneDrive. So this is connecting. What's great about this is once you do this and you're working in OneDrive, you can share this out with other people. If I hit share up here, I could add people's account and we could collaborate working on this PowerPoint together on it. So you could go ahead and add people, their email or addresses through here, or I could copy the link out. I could send a copy out this way and look at from a PDF. But this, if you're collaborating with people, then you'd want to have this in OneDrive, and you can think about using things like Microsoft Teams and everything too. But take advantage of having it up there where you can be accessing it all the time from any device, and if anything happens from it, and you can be making these changes with other people that can save you a lot of time. But you got to make sure you're logged into your OneDrive account to be ordered to do that. So I hope that makes sense to you. Take a look at the OneDrive video that I have explaining OneDrive a little bit more and how that works. These are the tips and different examples I have for my lesson 2, level 2 on my PowerPoint for beginners. I'll create more. There's still a lot more to learn about with PowerPoint. Let me know what you're looking to learn in the comments down below. Thanks for watching this time on Teachers Tech. I'll see you next week with more tech tips and tutorials.